What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you have been well. Happy 2021. When I said I would see you soon, apparently that was a big fat lie because it has not been soon in any sense of the word. I hope you have had a wonderful start to the new year, and I realize the first quarter of the year has passed without me checking in with you, but I am back with another TMI Tuesday video. I would love to update you where I've been, what I've been up to, and today is a special one because Glenn and I have some news. But this kind of news calls for a celebration. Do you want to say it at the same time?
Look at all that white space in the left.
Shh, doesn't matter. The framing's fine. The framing's fine. Ready? One,
Wait,
two,
what do we say?
1, 2, 3. We bought a house! Oh, that's not good.
So bad, I can't believe how bad it is.
Oh, that's not good.
It's horrible.
So do you want to talk about it?
Jim?
We had been looking for a house on Vancouver Island. As a lot of you probably know, I'd spoken about it multiple times in videos, and we looked for the better part of a year and nothing. Everything was super expensive, and they were really old houses, and we just were not finding what we wanted. Rewind back to January, we, on our anniversary, actually found a home in Souk that we really liked, and we wanted to go view it. So Glenn took the only flight that we've taken in the past year, and by we I mean you.
The night it came on sale.
The night that this house came on the market, and he went and viewed it, and we decided to put in an offer, and we put an offer in $60,000 over asking price, and we still didn't get it.
Not good enough.
It was absolutely nuts. And so once we had that experience and got like really hyped up about really liking a place and putting an offer in, and like any of you that have bought a house, like you know the feeling, you kind of get attached even though you don't mean to. We just felt like, wow, like this is going to be the market on Vancouver Island. And we decided pretty much on Valentine's Day, hey, that we were going to expand our search to the Okanagan just because there was a little bit more available at better prices.
You get a better house for
way better house
for less money.
Like substantially better.
And then we found a house, the second place we looked at, we're like, this is pretty cool.
I found the house.
You found the house.
I found the house.
You had a real estate agent doing the work, and you just
and I still found the house. Our real estate agent is phenomenal, by the way, but
he's great.
I am an internet creep, and I was looking at listings pretty much obsessively, and I found this house, and it was a new build, and it was basically the renderings of, and I don't even know how to explain it. Like, the renderings looked really great, but then the renderings only showed like 2 bedrooms, and I think that people didn't go and see it because they didn't get like a full idea of it, and it's kind of hard to get a good like feel of like what a new build is
that
going to
was
be.
a whole extra family room when we got there. We're like, this wasn't on the
it was
listing?
listed as a 3-bedroom, and it was really a
4-bedroom
4-bedroom
and a family room.
Yeah, and so anyway, I was really glad that we went and viewed it because I think that a lot of people would have seen the listing and been like, wow, like that's a lot of money for a 3-bedroom, but like it was huge.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that we went and viewed it, and as soon as we stepped inside, I was like, okay, I like this house. Like we need to make a move on this house. And so yeah, we talked it over, and we put a listing on it, put an offer on it, put an offer on it basically later that day, and we got it. I feel like I've beaked Kelowna a lot over the past year and a half of living here, but technically we're not going to be living in Kelowna, so I think also like a lot of our friends are starting to move back to the area, and I don't know, I have high hopes. Maybe it won't be everything that I want it to be, but on the flip side, I think we decided that we would just rather have a larger home with a backyard that was a newer build versus being squashed into somewhere that was really old and didn't have any, is it called appreciation value?
Sure.
Sure. We're like, where it goes up in value over the years. Like Vancouver Island homes, they just, it has to be a ceiling limit. Like these houses were just old and decrepit, and I didn't want to buy a house like that. And like, I don't know. So it made more sense to stay close to family and to buy in the Okanagan. So.
And we're closer to the ski mountains. So.
Yes, that is our news. What else? People were asking, will we decorate this new place differently? Probably not, because we spent all of our money buying the house.
All of it.
All of it! Let's talk for a second. Wait, you have a hair there. Let's
Thank
talk
you.
for a second about why I was gone from YouTube for so long.
Because there was the pandemic and
Yeah.
you just shut out of life.
Yeah, that's... that's pretty
Checked
much
out
it.
of life for a year.
Well, it wasn't a year. It was 4 months, at least. The last time you guys saw me, it was in December, and I was struggling in December, and then came January, and I was really struggling in January, and then I felt really hopeless with like the housing situation and not getting the house, and like,
Yeah, we were looking for a house for a full year.
we had a wonderful agent. It just was one of those
They were
things where
selling
like
straight away.
they were selling so fast, and like I just wanted to be, looking at listings all the time, and like, I don't know. Long story short, I really struggled with depression this past winter, and I think a lot of it was just regular seasonal depression coupled with COVID, pandemic, stress, and yeah, I was really not feeling myself. And when I don't feel myself, I don't put videos on the internet because I don't want to be a sad mopey person all the time on the internet. And like, I don't know, there's just that level of like, you have nothing to give. Like I barely had stuff to give to you.
Well, your creativity just goes down when you're not feeling good.
Everything. You just, I don't know, you feel, I felt like a shell of myself. And
Yeah.
so that is why I was not making videos. And so I feel much better now. Thank you for asking. That wasn't a question. But I am feeling a lot more like myself, and the sunshine is shining, and it's feeling a little bit less crazy with pandemic stuff. I mean, we have worse numbers than ever, but like
Yeah, right.
I'm handling it
we're
better.
pretending it's getting better and better.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like now that we can at least go outside and like go for walks, and it's warm out and it's light for a long time, like all of that really plays into your moods, and I don't know, I'm just feeling a lot better. So I thought I would jump back on and start up some videos again. And yeah, like, I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube's always been one of those spaces for me where I want to bring my best self and be excited to create content, be excited to share myself with the internet, with so many people. And sometimes I just need to take a mental health break. So I'm really glad if you are here and click this video and you're still with me. Totally understand when people drop off, because I get it. Sporadic posting YouTubers, like, people like consistency. I get it, but I'm never gonna be a consistent person. So you either take it or leave it. That's where we're at. Okay, I have one more question while you're here, because people were wondering what has changed since we got married. Like, has anything in our relationship changed?
No.
I was gonna say, it's true what they say about when you get married you have less sex.
They don't need to know that.
Well, it's just me being depressed, so
Yeah.
it's not that, But
She'll come back around.
We've already talked about my low libido, so it's not like it's like a secret around here. But other than my joke, anything else changed? Not my license.
Well, it's
my
weird
last
because
name.
we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's like, usually you'd go on a honeymoon, you'd go somewhere and celebrate, or you'd have a big wedding party or something.
I don't regret at all, like, doing the small wedding, the elopement. Like, I think we
Yeah,
both
it was
really
really
enjoyed
nice.
that, and
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't change anything about that. But I do wish that we had more of an opportunity to just share that with friends and family. But
Yeah.
I think our time will come,
Yeah.
slowly, but surely.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that's really changed.
Why do I look so red?
You do look really red. He's
Jesus.
not really this red in real life.
I'm sunburnt.
Yeah, you are a little bit sunburned.
Because I'm actually really sunburnt.
Well, yeah, but not like as much as it's showing on the screen.
Well,
Okay, that's it. That's really all I needed you for.
Kicking me out of here now?
Sure am.
I'm gonna
Can you take
the
this
world's
horrendous
worst
one? It's not very good. Get out of here.
Bye.
Get out of here. Do you want to say hello to everybody? I wanted to include Lola because there was a couple TMI questions asking how Lola was. She's doing fantastic. I think she kind of gets seasonal depression too, because in the winter, she has no interest in really going outside for the most part. Like, she does not like to walk in the winter, versus in the spring and summer, she's just like, yep, let's do it. But yeah, tell them how you are. She's gonna be 9 in August. She is getting a little bit more like gray around her back, my poor sweet nugget. She is just as playful and like spry as she ever has been. She's cheeky as hell. She has been a lot more playful as of late. I can't remember, I think I updated you guys. My parents got a Chihuahua, which was a big frickin' deal because my parents have never had a dog as adults. And Lola is absolutely in love with their Chihuahua, whose name was Lily, but then they renamed Billy because she's like a little tomboy. She's just rowdy. She's got a big personality, and Billy just fit her better. I will insert some footage over top of me speaking here. But yeah, they're hilarious. Like, Lola has never been a player, and she plays. Like, they play hard, they wrestle, they like chase each other, and it's just really cute seeing Lola act like a real dog because she's just always been a single child who doesn't do that. So yeah, anyway, that's my update on Lola. Okay, answering more of your questions. I am going to jump back to a couple of house questions because there is a lot of them. Someone said, what are you looking forward to the most with your new home? Probably the fact that we have like an actual full backyard this time. It's not enormous, but like it's much bigger than we have actually ever had as a couple. So I'm very excited for that. We are working with a landscaping team to kind of bring together a kind of zero-scape concept, but then have like a little bit of grass and a couple of garden beds. The community that we purchased in has like quite strict rules about like what you can put in your backyard and the different plants and stuff like that, because they want to keep it really to like indigenous plants, which fair enough. So yeah, I am looking forward to designing that with the landscaping team. And I'm a little bit sad that we probably won't be in until the end of May. So I would assume that we'll be in at the end of May, and then we probably will have the landscaping team in then, and then like the beginning of June. So I might not get like a proper garden this year, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I'll try and grow what I can. But yeah, I won't have my full setup this year, but I can be patient. Somebody else is asking, what room are you most excited to decorate in the new house? I don't know, to be honest. Probably the bedroom. I would really like to get a king-size bed, and like we've never had the room for a king-size bed, and like this finally is like a proper sized master bedroom. So I'm very excited for that. It also has a patio off of the master bedroom, so I'll be doing up like the little patio, and it's gonna be good. Very excited. A couple of you asked, will you be doing a house tour when you're all settled? I'm not sure if we're gonna do like a full house tour like how we did in this rental. Like, you'll definitely see it in like vlogs or in just in videos and stuff like that, but I don't know if I'll do like a full like tour of every single room. Obviously you guys just saw like kind of the empty like little house tour, but I don't know if I'm gonna do like a full-on house tour again. Maybe, never say never. Someone asked, what are you looking forward to most about owning your first home? This isn't our first home that we have owned. Glenn and I owned in Australia, but it's our first time owning in Canada. I can tell you right off the bat what I'm not looking forward to about owning a home in Canada is that you have to pay property tax every year, and like, that's fucking brutal, man. Like, you already own the house, like, where do I go pay property tax? You don't have to do that in Australia. Like, once you own the house, like, that is your house, unless you had like strata fees or something like that. Like, you don't pay a yearly tax. So that was a little bit gutting when you learned that. But what I'm most excited about is just being able to do whatever the fuck I want again with my house. Like, it's hard when you're renting. Like, okay, so for example, another thing that's kind of been going on behind the scenes that I haven't spoken about online is that last month, the person that owns this house decided to sell in the middle of a pandemic. And I get it, like, the market's hot, they want to take advantage of it, but like, oh, it's just been fucking brutal having people come through your house all the time for viewings. So we get an email from our property management on a Monday that the owners of this townhouse would like to sell, and by Thursday they already fully had like a photography team organized to come in and take photos. And we're like, we work from home, that completely restructures our week, thank you so much. But they didn't give a shit, and yeah, basically we have had like inspections, we have had people come in almost every few days for the past couple of weeks doing tours, which is absolutely freaking nuts to me that like you're not allowed to have like family members or friends in your house because of the pandemic, but like come on, have a tour of strangers parading through your house. It's just it's been a little bit overwhelming and completely invasive, and I get that like that's just what you have to deal with when you're renting. It's just a part of the thing, but I don't know, it was a bit frustrating when, like, I have an autoimmune disease. I've been taking major precaution during the pandemic, and instead of, like, organizing viewings to, like, really serious potential buyers and having them all come on, like, a Saturday between these hours so that, like, we can leave the house on just one day of the week or, like, even weekends, and just have it a little bit more organized where, like, it wasn't a complete shit show last minute, like, oh yeah, there's people coming tomorrow. It wasn't like that. So we have been basically trying to like clean the house, sanitize the house, and then like people will come in, and then we'll clean the house, sanitize the house, and people will come in. And it's been like that the past couple of weeks. So that is nuts. They finally did find a buyer, which is unbelievable to me because they priced this like, honestly, I think you'd have to be crazy to buy a townhouse for north of $620,000, but it's the market these days, I guess. And yeah, so they have found a buyer and they'll enjoy this space, but like, wow. So yeah, that has been going on the past month. We have pretty much a month left in here. We're just trying to like organize all of our stuff and start to slowly pack it up. I'm really hoping that we'll be able to do a couple of trips to the new house and like leave stuff in the garage, but it sounds like the developers aren't really that keen to let us do that. They're very much like, you can do it once you have the keys, but we don't have the keys for a while. So anyway, first world problems. It's not a problem. It just is what it is. But that is what I'm most excited for about owning our own home again, is that never having to deal with this bullshit again, because it sucks. It sucks to be a renter. It sucks to have to accommodate your landlord, and I totally understand, but it's never fun, you know? Someone's asking, have you ever thought about adding a second pet to the family now that you've bought a home? Yes, I want a cat so bad. Oh my god, you guys know this. I feel like I've talked about wanting a cat forever. In my dream world, would get a Sphinx cat. I love them, and their little pop bellies and their ugly little faces, and I think that they're just the sweetest little munchkins in the world. Probably we'll just end up going to the SPCA and getting whatever cat needs a home. But in my dream world, I would get a Sphinx cat. But yeah, I think like once we've moved in and we're settled, I think maybe like sometime next fall or next winter we would consider doing that, but I'm not in a rush. I want to get settled first and like get to know the area and then take on some more responsibility. Someone's asking, do you feel grown up? You turned 27 today and you still feel like a child adulting. Dude, every day I feel like a child adulting. There's so many things that like come up and it's like, fuck. You don't really understand as a kid or as a teenager what being an adult actually entails. And there are still things that completely catch me by surprise, and I'm just like, I have to deal with this shit today. Like, fuck, can't somebody else deal with this? But no, it's you. We're adults. We gotta deal with it. But yes, I don't often feel very grown up. Someone's asked, is Hayden still doing Socialize and do you miss it? Hayden, I believe, decided to close up shop a couple of years ago. It's one of those topics that we just don't really talk about. Like once I parted ways with the business and like signed the papers and everything was done, I just left that in my rear view mirror. If you want to read more about that experience, I did do a blog post, I want to say like a year, maybe 2 years ago about it. I don't remember. But there's no hard feelings. It is what it is. It is really, really difficult being in business with family. I wish that that was something that I took into consideration a little bit more when we started our company together. But yeah, I don't think that Hayden is continuing that, or he has shut it down, one of the two. And do I miss it? There's aspects of it that I miss, but I more look at that like a situation that I learned a lot from, and I've walked away with a lot of knowledge on that entire e-commerce concept. I'm looking forward to applying that to a future business, and yeah, I wouldn't trade that knowledge for anything. Someone said they're purchasing their first home. What are the prices like in Canada? They widely vary in Canada. So, I mean, I can only speak from my experience living in British Columbia, which is like the very westernmost province. It's very expensive here, but I think BC home prices are some of the most expensive in Canada, other than Ontario and like Toronto prices. As far as I know, like if you're living in places like New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, things like that are a lot more reasonable, like maybe in the $200,000 to like $400,000 range for like a 3-4 bedroom home. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the impression that I'm under. Maybe in the prairies as well, maybe in some like Albertan towns, it is a lot more like reasonable to find a home that's like a standalone family home for like under $500,000. But in BC, unless you're buying in like a really small town, or you're buying like a really old home, or you're buying like a duplex or a townhouse, you're probably paying a lot more. So like I said, we were looking on Vancouver Island, and we were looking pretty much everywhere from like Victoria down to Souk. And we were kind of looking for like a 3 or 4 bedroom, preferably with a bit of a yard, standalone home. And most of what we were finding in the searches were anywhere between like 700,000 and 1.2 million. Just nuts. I just read an article the other day that the average home price in Kelowna is now $967,000. Like, how? I think that our generation has been massively screwed over. I don't think that many people can buy a home without some type of family help. And I just think that that's incredibly unfair. And I don't really know how that will be solved, because it's just, it's fucked up. Someone has asked, do you sometimes think about quitting YouTube or social media once and for all? Somebody asked, do you have a backup emergency plan if social media doesn't work out in the long term? Those are very valid questions to ask. I think, though, that's more from the perspective of social media being like strictly something that I do as a career. And to be completely honest, it's never been something that I saw as like a be-all end-all career. I still do some stuff outside of the social media realm. I love doing social media, and predominantly started doing social media because I just wanted to meet people and talk to people. I don't ever do it if it's not fun, you know? Like, I've always been really open with, I show up online and I show up with all of me and the best form of me possible, but it's not going to be every day, and it's not going to be consistently every, week, every month. I show up when I feel like I have something to say, when I have something to give, and I like to keep it that way because then it becomes something that I enjoy doing long term, And I think it's just so cool to have like this diary of my life. Like, some of you guys have been here for 10 years with me. I've gone through being a student living alone, to moving across the world, to having, a relationship with a man that I love, to marrying him, and like hopefully, everything beyond that. And I just think it's so incredible that we have the opportunity to grow together. And that's how I view social media. So I can't really say that I would ever want to quit that, because it's something that I truthfully really enjoy. I just need to do it on my terms. Someone's asking, would love to know, as a newlywed, have you had an influx of people asking when you'll have a baby? Dude, I feel like as soon as you have dated someone for multiple years, you start getting the question like, so when are the babies happening? It can get a little bit overwhelming, because you don't need to have a child to have a validating and wonderful life. You can enjoy being child-free and really treasure those years. And it's just funny that that's such like a knee-jerk question to ask people. But yeah, like definitely it ramped up after getting married. It's like, so when are the kids coming? And it's like, dude, can I just enjoy being a newlywed for a freaking minute? I also think it's kind of funny that like some people will take the time to like direct message me and be like, when are you having kids? Are you pregnant? I feel like you're pregnant. Like, do you really think that as a stranger on the internet who watches my content, that I am going to single you out and tell you via direct message or comment that like, yeah girl, I'm pregnant? Like, why do you think you're privy to that information? It's so weird. It's mind-blowing to me that somebody would ever ask that. It doesn't bug me. It's just more so like, why do you think that I would ever tell you in a direct message? It's a little bit strange. It's one of those like parasocial relationship kind of things where it's like, dude, we don't actually have that kind of relationship. And like, I cannot wait to share that part of my life with you guys when that's something, you know, that we've chosen to do. But like, I'm not going to tell you until I tell everyone as like an announcement, and I'm most certainly not going to be telling like individuals via DM or comment. But yeah, anyway, I think that is such an odd question that people always seem to ask. Whenever you've been in a relationship for a while, it's like, when are you having kids? I don't know, when I want to. Have your parents ever stumbled across a sex toy of yours? Very random question. I don't think so. I bought my first vibrator when I was like 17 or 18, and I always hid it in my closet in a special spot when I lived in my parents' house. And then I basically moved out of my parents' house right after I turned 18. So I don't think so, unless like they've been digging through like my drawers at this house. But no, they haven't randomly stumbled across a sex toy of mine, but they did see my sex toy on Instagram stories when I was promoting Lilo last year. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know, it's a great sex toy. I highly recommend. Somebody asked, have you ever dated a girl? And I actually also had a question asking if I had ever considered, do I consider myself bisexual or pansexual or heterosexual? I have not dated a girl, but I was talking to Glenn and my parents about this the other day. I kind of consider myself pansexual because I have always really truthfully thought that like I am attracted to people. Like I haven't dated a girl, but it's not like I haven't been attracted to women before. I've just never really acted upon it. And I've also never been in a position where I've been single to act upon it. I'm not like somebody who seeks out relationships or seeks out people. So it just, I don't know, it just never really panned out that way. But yeah, like I really truly feel like attraction is based on the individual and on the person, and that person is just a shell, and like it doesn't really matter what genitals they have. It just, you know, if you're attracted to somebody, you're attracted to somebody. If there's that spark, there's that spark. So yeah, I feel like I probably would describe myself as pansexual, but I'm married to a man, so that's probably not gonna be explored. I had a couple of questions asking about psychedelics and my experience with psychedelics, and I guess just like anything kind of surrounding that. Sure, let's talk about that. I tried shrooms for the first time when I was, I want to say like maybe 23 or 24. I tried it with a group of friends outside, and that was something that like was a big deal to me, that I had the right set and setting. I wanted to make sure that I was somewhere where I felt really safe and somewhere that I felt really close to nature. I feel like with psychedelics, you have to be very aware of your set and setting and who you're with, and it's non-negotiable for you to have that so that you ensure that you're having a good time and a safe time. And I'll never forget the first time that I did it. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I came out of it like, holy shit, this is what it's about. Like, it's not something that you need to do often to have such a profound experience with, but it was something that so deeply resonated with me that it was just like, holy shit, that's what people mean when they talk about psychedelics. And I was so grateful to have had that experience. I've only done a larger, like multi-gram dose once. That was simultaneously one of the best and worst experiences in that whole drug realm. I was not prepared with my set and setting in that experience, and that really played a huge part in my trip. I honestly did not do any of the right things when I had that experience. I didn't weigh what I was taking. I basically just like free ate them, which was total mistake number one. Mistake number two was that I was at a festival and I did not put myself in a position where I had a bit of a safety net. And so I ended up actually coming back to the tent and tripping by myself in the tent. And I remember just feeling like, holy shit, like who am I? I'm never gonna be myself again. How would I tell my parents? What am I gonna do? They're literally gonna have like a mush for brains child, and I'm gonna have to explain, like, you're gonna have to hold my hand and take me everywhere. And like, it's all that ridiculousness that's going through your head in that kind of a situation, you know, like, that's not true, but for whatever reason your brain goes there. And yeah, I basically had a trip where I progressed to the point of complete ego death, had no idea who I was, where I was, what I was doing. And I remember feeling as though, and this is going to sound so weird, and if you don't do drugs, you're going to be like, Jesus Christ, Carissa. But I remember feeling like the only way that I could feel like myself again, or what I knew as myself, was to smoke a bowl of weed, because I recognized that feeling. And so I did. And then I would feel like, okay, like, I'm cool, I recognize that kind of a high, we're good, we're good. And then it's that roller coaster of the next few hours of kind of peaks and valleys of feeling like, I don't know if I got this anymore. And then by that point, I had been tripping for several hours, and one of my friends came back to the tent to check on me, and I was totally fine. And yeah, it was simultaneously, like I said, one of the hardest, most like self-actualization, holy shit, what am I doing? Like, who am I? What is my life? Kind of moments. But then afterwards, it was just like, wow, I'm so grateful for this experience, because I now know what a bad trip is like, and I now know what I did wrong, and I'm now not scared of anything. Like, I truly felt like if I could mentally handle whatever the fuck that was, I could handle anything. And so, yeah, the next day I jumped right back on the shroom train, did not take as many, and I conquered that fear. And it's just so funny how when you're faced with yourself, just what, I don't know, it's really hard to explain to someone that has never experienced what it's like to be on mushrooms. But when you are so in a space of you're not judging yourself, and there is no specific you, it's just we as a universe, and we as a collective species, and we as, I feel the same as the tree over there. We are both breathing the same oxygen. We are both a part of this ecosystem. When you're a part of that and you just feel so connected to everything that is around you, you just kind of lose yourself for a second, but in the best possible way. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well, but I'm super grateful for that experience, because yeah, it really did teach me, like, holy crap, I can handle whatever anything is thrown at me. I did also come out of that weekend feeling as though I really needed to change the way that I showed up online, in the sense that I just wanted to be my most absolute authentic self, and like no bars hold, whatever that saying is, like no holding back, that like I am who I am, and if you don't like that, that's okay. Like, maybe it's not the right journey for you to be on, but like, I'm over here doing my thing, and if you'd like to join me, you're more than welcome. But if it's not your thing, like, I still wish you well. It's that whole, like, maybe we might not sit at the same table, but I still want you to eat well, you know? Like that whole feeling. And yeah, I came out of that experience feeling really at peace. And since then, I think that would have been when I was probably like 24. Since then, I have had a fair few smaller, like gram or less kind of experiences. And truthfully, that is what I enjoy the absolute most. I feel like you just get a bit of the giggles, you go out in nature, have fun with your friends. You just feel, again, really connected, but not in a way where like you're seeing trees breathe. But yeah, I love psychedelics. I think that they are such a fantastic tool. I think that it is an experience that I will forever be grateful for. Same kind of deal as with acid. I was terrified to do that the first time, and I thought I was gonna melt my brain, and then I realized, holy shit, everything that anyone's ever told me is just bullshit. And I'm glad that I had my own experience and I made up my own mind. And again, it was something that I moved past my fear to experience it for myself in as safe of a setting as I possibly could, with tested product, and there's no regrets. I feel as though that helped me grow as a person, that made me who I am today to have those experiences, and I feel like I'm a much more compassionate, understanding, and easygoing person because of that. But yeah, like, you might not have any interest in any of the past like minute or so of what I was saying. You might think the drugs are terrible, that, you know, like, you're crazy for doing that. It's totally okay if we're not on the same page. You do not need to do the things that I do. You do not need to understand why I chose to do them. We could be on totally different paths, yet parallel paths, and that is totally fine. I think that that is the special thing about being human. We can have completely different experiences that resonate very deeply in different ways, but this was my journey and my path, and I'm so grateful that I invited that into my life, because I think that it profoundly changed my view, and yeah, I'm super grateful for that. So that was my experience, and that is kind of like a very crash 101 overview of my experience with psychedelics. But, you know, someone said weirdest pain you've ever had in your female organs, but I read that as weirdest pain you've ever had in your female orgasms. I will answer both. The weirdest pain I've ever had in my female organs, I don't know, like probably just cramps. Yeah, like cramps or getting like an IUD inserted, like that's probably like the weirdest pain there. Weirdest pain I've ever had in orgasms was, and I actually went to the doctor about this when I was like, I don't know, maybe 21 or 22. For some reason, like something shifted in my body where every time, almost every time I would orgasm, it would pinch a nerve in my foot. Fuck, it hurt. Like, oh my god, I would go from like enjoying myself to like the bottom of my foot feeling as though like it was just like radiating out of like this portion of my foot and like radiating up my leg. Oh my god, I thought I was going to die. And then it just was awful because like back then I had a way higher sex drive. I was having sex a lot more. It made it just horrendous. And so yeah, I remember going to the doctor and I was like, is there anything they can do about this? And she's like, well, no, like you're just pinching a nerve. And then I ended up going to my chiropractor and like not like fully telling the issue, but being like, I'm having foot pain. And they adjusted my foot and they adjusted my back, and then I didn't have that problem. But I had that problem for like, I want to say a good like probably 4 months. Like it was fucking brutal. Go to a chiropractor. They can really help. Okay, this is going to be the last question because I have been here for way too long and this video is getting way too long. What advice would you give to younger you, like when you first started YouTube around that age? I started YouTube when I was 19 years old, and I would probably say it's not all about you. And not in like a narcissistic way, but in like a way of like, I don't know, it's not so personal. Like when people say things or when people do things, it's not a personal attack to you. Like it took me a really fucking long time to learn that. I really felt jaded by some of the relationships or friendships that I had where it just felt like, oh my god, why are they doing that? Or why don't they value, you know, X, Y, and Z? Why are they treating me like this? Why am I not invited to do this with them? It's because they're living their own fucking lives and they're not thinking about you, girl. And that's okay. You are not people's number one priority, and you don't need to be, and that's okay that you're not. And that, for some reason, was a really hard thing for me to learn when I was younger. I felt really slighted by some people when it was just like, but I don't understand why they're not inviting me, or like, poor me. And it's like, dude, get over it. I don't know, I just had that sense of, I don't know if it's entitlement or if it's just like, I don't know. I just took things much too personally. Or like, if like somebody wrote like a mean comment, like I really truly took it to heart in the sense where I felt like I really had to correct them and like, dude, like no, like that's not who I am, and it's not how I, you know, I'm so sorry that I'm coming across in this way, and I wanted to fix that and like tell you who I really am. And like, I'm a people pleaser in that sense. Like I want to be on good terms with people. But you don't have to be on good terms with everybody. And I think that for a very long time, I just really struggled with that. So I probably would just tell myself that and just get the fuck over it. Because it's just, not everybody's gonna like you, and not everybody's gonna vibe with you, and it's not all about you, and all of those things can simultaneously exist, and you can still lead a wonderful life and be totally happy. And yeah, I think that that's something that I struggled with and that a lot of people struggle with. Anyways, I need to go get a drink of water. I am so thirsty. Have you heard my voice get like progressively raspier? This is what happens when I don't film for months at a time. It's just like, I'm gonna lose my voice tomorrow. Can you hear that? tomorrow is 420, my favorite day of the year. So when you're watching this, I hope that you are somewhere in the world where you can partake and enjoy. And smoke a big one for me. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hopefully I will be putting out some more content sooner than later, and actually sooner this time. Thank you so much if you've made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate if you stick around and support my content and comment, and it means the world. It truly does. I hope that you're having a wonderful day no matter where you are, what you do, and we will catch up soon. Bye!